how's it going, everybody? BurntBrian here, and welcome back to another Tall Can Tuesday. In this video series, I like to give channel updates, answer questions, and talk about random topics submitted by you, the fine viewers of this channel, and of course, drink some beer. Now, usually, I like to alternate. One week will be malt liquor, the next week will be craft beer, but money's a little tight this week, so I went with another malt liquor. And this one's another one of my old school favorites. And this is Schlitz, the original malt liquor, coming in at 5.9% per volume. Really, I don't know, I've just always liked Schlitz. It's just one that, I guess because it's one of those beers that, if it's one of the earlier ones you drank, like for me it was St. Ides, Oldie, and Schlitz. And those were the three that I first started drinking when I was younger. But I've just always really liked this stuff. All right, before I get started, it's been a really hard week, so before I jump in and answer some questions that you guys were kind enough to send me and talk about a few topics, let me go ahead and take a good swig out of this. Refreshing. All right, so we're going to start out with a few questions today. Let's see. First off, we've got from Flintquitch. He said, have you ever encountered an obnoxious beer snob? Well, thankfully, I haven't really run into too many of those. I mean, obviously, you'll run into a few, especially if you start going to a lot of the trendy breweries and stuff, or the brand new breweries. In my area, Swamphead Brewery is the original, the first one really that kind of started in this area and became really successful. And I used to love going to the old brewery, even though they just recently bought a new one and set it up. It just seemed like towards the end of Swamphead at the original location before it moved to the new one, it just kind of started turning into a place where a lot of, I guess, I don't know, hipster, trendy people would go to, and you just kind of felt out of place. It used to be you could just go in jeans and shorts and feel all right and have a good local beer. And then it kind of turned into sort of a snobby area with a lot of upper class people going. And especially now since they've opened up their new solar powered place and all, I really don't like to go and hang out there. The bartenders last time I went were just kind of really obnoxious. They didn't pay attention to me at all. They even though like I was there before other people, they saw me, they were helping these other people. I don't know why. So they left a bad taste in my mouth. But you'll always run into some beer snobs, especially if you go to some of these different breweries. And thankfully, I haven't really had any encounters with people because, you know, I'm there drinking the same beer as they are. But, you know, I always say, man, screw the haters, screw these beer snobs. I mean, sure, I enjoy really good quality beer, but I remember where I started from. I remember my roots. I remember growing up and having these malt liquors and Bud Light, Natty Ice, and, you know, Mickey's, all of the cheaper beers that I, you know, started out with. I'm not going to forget that and say that they're all crap beers. I think maybe most of these new kids, these younger guys, they grew up and they never drank any of that stuff, so they just went straight to craft beer and started having it, so they feel like they have a superior attitude towards these other people. I don't know why, you know, they want to act like that and down somebody else's choice to drink. I really don't care what you drink. Drink malt liquor, you drink craft beer, you can drink piss. We're all like, here, as long as you like what you're doing, you know, I'm not going to, you know, down you for it, and I would hope that you're not going to down me for it. But anyway, thanks for the question, Flintquitch. Alright, so next we got Pain Drain. Pain Drain says, do you know the people that were in the CMT show called Gainesville? Because if you guys don't know, I'm from Gainesville, Florida, which is a university, it's a college town, home to the University of Florida. And thankfully, my Gators are doing good this year. That's awesome. But CMT came out with this horrible show called Gainesville, and he'd asked, you know, he wants to know if I know people from that show, and no. Thankfully, I don't know any of the people that are in that show, and actually there was a petition going around from people who lived here in Alachua County who grew up in this area, and, you know, the petition was basically asking for the name to be changed to something else, because really, the people that were in that show honestly do not really reflect the residents of Gainesville, the people that actually live in this town. It might represent some of the college students that are transients that only come here for a few years and leave, but those kids that were in that show really do not incorporate what this town is really all about, and it was kind of an embarrassment. I only watched, I think, an episode or two of it. It was just kind of really disappointing. I thought it was a pretty stupid show all around, and I agreed with the petition and thought, yeah, we should definitely change the name on that one. So Florida 32. But yeah, so I don't know. That's not. I'm not at all happy about that show, and so please don't watch Gainesville on CMT and think that that's how it is here with these snobby, stupid. I don't even know how to describe them. They were just damn, a horrible representation of this community. But thanks for the question, man. So Francisco F, he asked me, did you drink Mad Dog 2020 as a kid? Not as a kid, but I mean, I do remember. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I was a kid. I was underage. I was probably 16 when I first had some Mad Dog 2020. And I'll tell you, man, that stuff will make you see vapor trails. Like, that was a hardcore drink. I remember we had this gas station. I'm not too proud about this story, actually. Let me go ahead and take a swig before I get into that. All right, so I grew up in this really small town. It was a one stoplight town. And then I lived in this little neighborhood. It's a pretty small neighborhood, a couple blocks wide, I guess. We were surrounded by woods and stuff, and everybody in the neighborhood knew each other. All the kids played with each other, grew up together. But there was a gas station out on the corner. And before I started going up there, my brother, I guess, he's 6 years older than me, so he knew the guy that worked up there, and they would go in and talk with him and slip him some cash or whatever, and they were able to like buy all kinds of stuff while they were underage. Well, we weren't that lucky. Every now and then I'd manage to get one of his friends that, friended me because I was his little brother. I'd get them to go and buy us something. But for the most part, we stole what we wanted. And I'll have a story I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, we had jacked a bottle of the Mad Dog 2020 from there one time. I remember, first time we each had one of our own bottles, me and two friends of mine, and we were drinking out in the woods. And that stuff is just rough. I mean, it'll mess you up. It'll talk about a nasty hangover the next day. Yeah, I don't even know if they still make it. I thought that they had it at one of the local stores. I looked today on my way home. I didn't see it. They've got that Irish Rose stuff, I guess, and I don't even know. But I may end up getting one of those one day to do a video for you guys. I don't know yet. But anyway, he also had said, "Who remembers the good old days when Four Loko had taurine in it?" And I remember when they were out. I just never drank any of them. It's the same thing with Budweiser. I think didn't they have Spark or something like that? And there were a couple other energy drinks / beers that were on the market, and I don't know what the deal was. I guess people were having heart attacks or something was going on, because it's kind of like basically like speedballing in a sense when you're taking an upper and a downer and you're mixing. Alcohol is a downer and you're taking the upper of the energy drink and mixing it. And I guess the weak people out there can't handle that kind of thing. If you can't handle a little bit of energy drink and a beer, you definitely can't handle Coke and weed. Anyway, I never got a chance to drink one of those. I would have loved to get my hands on one of those. I think a friend of mine says he may still have one of the original Four Lokos. I think his dad had bought a case of these things, or his granddad or something had bought a case of them. So I'm going to try to find out if I can still get my hands on one of those and crack one open for all of you guys. It'd be neat to taste the difference, because I don't like the new ones at all. I'm not a fan of the regular Four Lokos. Four Loko Gold now, that one I'll drink a good bit of. But thanks for the questions, Francisco. All right, so Benny had asked me, Miguel Cotto versus Canelo Alvarez. What's my prediction? And I think he had asked me that because in the last video I talked about how, boxing was so cool. That's when I fell in love with boxing, was when I went to my first match. And I do still love boxing. I just honestly, I haven't had the time to be following any sports, and I rarely get a chance. Like, I haven't been out a lot during fight night to go and see these things live. And since all the fights are on pay-per-view, I really don't order them anymore. I don't have HBO. I haven't had TV in probably 8 years. I just really don't care about cable television. So I don't follow any of the celebrities. I don't watch SportsCenter. I don't have any of that stuff. So I'm really out of the loop out of those two. But since you mentioned it, and I don't have a prediction to give you, honestly. I really don't know where to go with that one. I'm slacking, and you've pointed it out to me, so I need to start getting back into things and start at least watching boxing, because that was one thing that I did always enjoy, and it was a source of motivation for me to keep going. And So I don't know. I'll get back into that, and maybe I'll have an answer for you. I'll do a little research before the fight happens, and maybe I can give you guys a little bit of a prediction. But CB Fall asks, what's your favorite type of music? Well, let me think about that. I've got several different types of music. I love all music, really. So I used to always hate country, at least modern country. I liked old school stuff. Things like old school to me would be Hank Williams Jr., the first. You got, David Allan Coe, Johnny Cash. It's kind of a mix of a few different years, but that's my kind of idea of country. Maybe even some Garth Brooks, but not really. I didn't even really like most of that era of country. And especially the pop country that we have nowadays, I really can't get behind at all. Hank Jr., Hank the Third, I like his style, because he's all about partying, drugs, sex. His music's funny. It's awesome. I've always enjoyed him, but just that's pretty much the one style I've never liked, and maybe opera. I don't really see myself going to an opera hall. I like classical music and jazz, so I'll go and watch live performances of those, especially at the Fine Arts Hall at the local university. I had a chance to go to a couple jazz event that was absolutely amazing, and I got to see one of the local symphonies play, and a great pianist, local pianist named Evans Hale, just a phenomenal player. Really enjoyed listening to play some Chopin. And I also used to play a little bit of piano, or at least try to. So I was big into listening to piano players, Mozart, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, things like that. But let's see. I think my favorite would probably just be classic rock for the most part. I mean, I'm a guitar player, so I'm into bands like AC/DC, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. As you start getting into the later, more 80s era of like Guns N' Roses, even into the 90s, starting to get into heavy, I guess classic rock, hard rock, that's my kind of thing. Pantera, Metallica, Nine Inch Nails, which I guess that's kind of more, I don't know, what is that, industrial or grunge or something? There's all these different categories or genres, but I listen to all kinds of things. But Def Leppard, that's another one of my favorites. Still love those guys. But to me, I think probably one of my favorite artists is it's tough because I love AC/DC. I think that they have some of the most amazing hard rock, classic hard rock riffs that are just iconized. Like everybody knows those sounds when they hear them, and they're still putting out music today, creating new content, which is awesome. Probably my favorite band. It's tough, man. I like so much music. I mean, Zeppelin's probably one of my all-time favorites. Again, Floyd, the Beatles, strange mix of music. I know the Eagles, it's not really hard rock, but they're, amazing guitar players. I love guitars. That's where I focus on. So, Metallica is probably one of my all-time favorites. They're still putting out great music to this day. The classics. Some people, like Dave Mustaine, said they sold out, and I don't think that they sold out, really. They were going with the times. They were doing what was right. It is a drastic change when you go from Kill 'Em All to, even when you're getting into And Justice for All, especially. Master of Puppets, it was going a little bit, and then And Justice for All was totally different. Then, Kill 'Em All was more of like a hardcore, grungy, punky metal. And then, you had Ride the Lightning, and then Master of Puppets, and Justice for All, the Black Album. I still like the Black Album. Not a big fan of Load or Reload, but there were a few songs that I could dig. And I haven't really listened to much of their new stuff either, unfortunately, but I do still love Metallica. I think they're a great band. So anyway, sorry for that long ramble on that. I do love music. I love talking about music, and I love playing music. I wish I could burp, because I really feel like there's something building up, and I can't release it. So I think that's pretty much it as far as questions go. So let me go ahead and take a swig and see if that'll help. Alright, so I do have a couple shout outs I want to give out to some people. We'll start with Chili Head Master, Mr. Paradise Weiss. Now, I know he's not a beer drinker. A lot of you guys that watch these videos, you follow me for of the beer stuff that I put up, but Mr. Paradise Wise is an awesome dude. He's, you know, I started doing videos eating hot peppers and hot sauce basically because I watched, you know, really two main people got me into doing videos. There we go. And that was Ted Barris, who also has a channel now where he does the Unplugged channel, where he does a lot of craft beers and malt liquor videos. Well, actually, he had Beer Time with Ted on his Ted Barris channel. And then he kind of started delving into the malt liquor drinking community with his Unplugged channel. And but it was between him and Frank Altson, Reggae Frank 09, who was just a really awesome guy. And I only got a chance to know him for, I don't know, maybe, I think it was about a year that we had talked back and forth and stuff. He was just a really amazing guy, and the guy ended up, you know, he touched a lot of lives in the short amount of time he was here, and unfortunately, you know, he died at a really young age. And I'll never forget, because I remember waking up, it was the day after, I think he had passed away on the 4th of July, and it was the day after. I remember waking up in bed after the fireworks and drinking and stuff and looking through my phone and just seeing all the messages while I was laying in a hotel room and going, wow, man, I couldn't believe it happened. But it was those two guys that really got me into making these videos in the first place. And then, you know, from then I started eating peppers and doing a lot of different, you know, hot sauce things. And now I've obviously branched out in all different categories. But one thing I really liked about Mr. Paradise Wise, he was different than everybody else. A lot of his videos were shorter. They were sweet, cut to the point. It's not just somebody sitting there eating a pepper and drooling and crying and vomiting and all that. He would blast through these peppers, and he makes it funny and interesting and entertaining. And I'll tell you, man, he's probably one of the funniest reviewers out there as far as hot sauce or hot pepper reviewers go. I really like his style a lot. Hopefully, if I do get a chance to go out to California or make it to VidCon this year, maybe I'll get a chance to swing through and say hello to him. But definitely check out his channel if you get a chance. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Fishin' 40 Ounce. He's been following, commenting a lot on my videos. I appreciate it a lot. Malt Liquor, thanks for watching, dude. Let's see, we've got Bob Eats. Bob Eats is an amazing channel, really a whole lot of fun. Dave is kind of the man behind the camera. You don't really ever see him, and he does a moto vlog as well. But Bob is just he is a beast. I don't know how he eats the shit that he eats, but man, you know, you guys ask him to, you know, viewers, maybe not y'all, but viewers ask him to do a lot of really crazy challenges, and he never lets anybody down. So definitely this one's for all of those guys. Appreciate y'all's work, hard work, and content creation for YouTube. I only got a little bit left and a couple more things to talk about. Also want to give a shout out to TDOT Heat. That's a channel that's pretty much focused around similar things. I guess they kind of play off of each other. It's Danny Mala and Flavio Di Giovanni that kind of run that channel, and they do hot sauce reviews, and it's kind of neat seeing them. They're like the odd couple. The two of them sort of play off of each other pretty well, and they're fun to watch, so definitely check them out. So that's really all I got as far as shout outs and questions and stuff. I appreciate, again, all of the support and all the questions you guys sent out to me. Again, if you have anything else you'd like to hear me talk about, questions, comments, feedback, leave them down below, and I'll be sure to get to them in next week's video. As far as topics go, there's really only one that I want to mention, and I'm not going to give any names because I don't want to draw attention to somebody else's channel. And maybe I'll ask you guys, because I don't know how you feel about this kind of stuff, but you've heard of clickbait, right? And so if you haven't, clickbaiting is basically where you throw up a thumbnail that completely misrepresents your, you know, the video that you're trying to put out, and it draws in people that, it's usually some hot girl in a bikini or something like that, and you guys go, oh, I want to see this video, and it has nothing to do with that at all. It's something completely different. Well, that's not exactly what, excuse me, Florida 32. That's not exactly what, I guess what this channel does, but what bothers me is, and maybe I shouldn't even vent or be frustrated about it. It's just interesting, here I am, getting close to almost 3 years of making videos, and I know I probably don't put out as many as a lot of other channels do and stuff, but 3 years in, and I'm about at 1,100 subscribers. And it's interesting to me when you see somebody. I started following this one channel because I thought it was really interesting. They were doing gaming reviews, and it was like old school games, new games. And it was, an interesting kind of cute girl that was doing it. And I thought, hey, cool, it's a gamer girl. It's always nice seeing chicks that are involved in the video game world or involved in any of these worlds, really, the craft beer scene, all that stuff. But, I guess what bothers me about them is they started out as this, and now all it is it's twerking. It's like trying to show as much ass and as much skin as possible, and it's like constantly like teasing and flirting, and it's man. Now I'm starting to burp. Normally I don't burp on camera. I don't know why. It's like for some reason it's like I know I've got a camera on me and I don't want to burp. But this stuff is extra foamy today. But yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. Like, to me, it's I don't like when somebody's going to use their body. It's the same thing as if some dude is like, if I had 6-pack abs and I'm just sitting here with no shirt on going, yeah, I like beer. Beer is good. It's kind of stupid. I mean, sure, I bet a bunch of chicks would be clicking on it. They see some decent looking guy with abs, sitting there talking about anything. They don't care. They're just going to click on it. But, well, maybe not guys. I don't know. I know that dudes, the thirst is real in YouTube. I mean, it's full of young, adolescent guys, middle-aged guys, old guys. I mean, it's a combination of all kinds of people that watch these videos. So you put some young girl in there just showing off her body a little bit, and obviously people are going to be, oh, click, like, I want to see more, I want to see more. And for some reason that bothers me as a content creator, because you're not really, I mean, even though you may be doing something interesting in your video, you're using your body to try to accentuate that video and to bring people to watch you. And those people don't give a shit about your beer, your game reviews. They don't give a shit about whatever it is you're doing. They're only there because they want to see you naked or half clothesless, whatever. And I don't know, man. To me, that just seems like bullshit. It's like, I don't know. I have a problem with women using their bodies to get away with things. And it happened all the time when I was working in restaurants. It's like girls want to try to use their, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and their flirty attitudes and shit. And it's like, sorry, this is a business. Yeah, you might be hot and all, but I would make the hot girls cry just as fast as the ugly ones if they weren't doing their job right. I mean, so I don't know. I really hate people that use bodies, use women to get views and to bring people to their channel. To me, that's just, it's stupid. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I've got a couple hot friends. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just bring those girls in and have them stand here with bikinis next to me, handing me a beer every time I want to take a sip. But that's just dumb. I mean, I don't know. I like people to follow me for the content that I put out, not for the way I look or for whatever. And to me, it just seems like a pretty shitty way to get viewers. So that's the way I think about it. So I guess I'll end this one with a big fuck you to all those that like to use their bodies to get viewer counts on YouTube. Cheers. And another one bites the dust. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I always have a lot of fun making these because unlike my review videos where I kind of try to focus on just the product at hand and what I'm looking at, it's given me a chance to really open up and just kind of tell you guys about how I feel about things and what's going on in the world. I could have talked about Paris and the ridiculousness of everybody changing their profile pictures to a Paris flag. I, by the way, changed mine to a Lebanese flag because obviously, nobody seemed to care about the people in Beirut that were killed by suicide bombings. Everybody was focused on Paris, and it's just interesting when you see these people jump on bandwagons and stuff, and people say, "Oh, this is my way of showing solidarity and support." Well, why the fuck do you need to go to a social media network site like Facebook and change your profile picture to show your solidarity and support? There's much better ways that you can do that. To me, it's just people looking for attention, looking for likes, going, hey, you know, I support them. Look at me, I support. And it's just like, you're just feeding into that. That kind of stuff pisses me off. But anyway, I didn't want to go into any of all that stuff. Maybe next weekend, if you guys want to hear my thoughts on things like that, political issues, whatever, let me know down below and I'll talk about them. I just don't generally bring them to the channel because people don't seem to be able to take criticism well at all anymore. And obviously, if you've seen South Park's recent video about safe spaces, you know, all these dumbass college kids and everybody this generation that's being grown up on sensitive feelings and how you can't be offended by anybody. I just don't get into any of that. I just tell it how it is and the way I feel, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But, you know, we are all entitled to our opinion for now until these freedom, social justice warriors end up taking away our First Amendment. But I'll end it on that note. And again, if you guys want to hear me talk about more, leave a comment or a question. I'll be sure to answer it in next week's video. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on all the various social networking sites from Instagram, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, Steam. And if you're a connoisseur of fine craft beers, you can join me on Untapped. And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already for more great content. And as always, stay toasty, my friends.